my past is my past. It's not that I want to hide it, because actually the police department, all the institutions that wanted to know my past, they already know. In 2001, unfortunately, I lost my older son, May 7th to be exact. And I walk up to the superintendent of prison. His name was George Clark. And I opened myself to him and told him everything about my true identity, how or where I used to live, the reality or the real names of my family. He called a police officer to interview me 3 weeks later, and the police officer made an interview, and I told him everything he wanted to tell regarding to my identity and my past in a certain way. I reported it in 2001 because I feel that actually because of what happened to my son. And from there is when my life, everything changed in my life. I dedicated my time, the remaining of my sentence, to advise a lot of young people in prison, and that is in a recommendation letter that I didn't even know that the authorities were keeping it in record. I find out in my recommendation letter that we requested when I was released, before we were released. I spent a lot of time advising young people what I want to do now, the consequences of the drug trade, the consequences of drug addiction, how easily you can fall into this type of business and find yourself like me in prison, losing family, losing freedom, losing everything. So that's actually what happened. If later on, when I write my book, I'm going to explain every detail of my past, my present, and my future. I have spoken to my father and my mother on a daily basis. My father is still very ill. I will say that unfortunately he's on his last days of his life. I was able to see him through Skype system as well. He's in good condition. I had spoken to my son that I wasn't able to speak. My second oldest son for many years as well. And almost I'm still looking forward. I'm about to receive a computer because of what I'm using I've been borrowing. And once I will have a computer, this will be a daily based conversation with my children. They are also organizing themselves to come and visit Barbados, so I will contribute to the increase of the tourist industry in Barbados. Yes, I will be receiving a lot of visitors, family members, cousins, and so on in the next few months.
Did they visit you while you were here?
3 months.
3 months. Did they visit you while you've been here for the last 20 years? You had any visits?
Oh yes, of course. In 2002, 2001 and 2002, my parents came to visit me, my sisters, my niece. But she was also my lawyer. My niece is a lawyer in the United States. She's a judge. I don't know what's They visit me on those times, but my father started to deteriorate. He's been diabetic for 50 years, and he wasn't able to come again. Then the prison burned, and I didn't want him to visit me at St. Lucie. It was not appropriate for him to visit me. And in this prison as well. So I told him to go on because I was going to be released in 2010. I wasn't expecting this inconvenience of the 3 years extra incarceration. So now that I am free, my father will not be able to come. He cannot travel. My mother we're going to arrange everything we can for her to come, and the rest of my family. But at least I am seeing them through the Skype. And you see, this is a good example when I say the consequences of being involved in illegal activity. This is a good example. I will not be able to see my father again. It's a good example.
I think that he should perhaps talk a little bit about his family, because he is a family man. He is a father, and maybe you could just give a little background about who you are as a family man.
I happened to get married at a very young age. My marriage lasted for 14 years in the United States. I had my first 2 sons. Unfortunately, I made the wrong decision and I left the country. I remarried again. I have my 4th child. He's also a boy. He's studying at the university today in West Virginia. He's wanting to be a dentist. I have my 3rd older son that he lives in Canada. He was in the army in Canada as well. And I have 12 nephews and nieces that are also my children as well. Or at least I have them as such. I have a sister that she's a very good sister. My brother, and also children, and my father and my mother, and lots of cousins and dad and my brothers. My family, as the Spanish-speaking culture, we are very, very close. We are very united. Anything that happens to one happens to all. But my whole family, the only one who committed a crime of my whole family was me. Most of my nephews and nieces today, they are professionals. We have engineers. We have master degrees in finances. We have lawyers, even a judge. The reason I express this is because my whole family has always been very hard-working people, including my father and my mother. There has always been business people, very strong principles and moral standards. Thanks to them, I always said that I actually, it's not that I rehabilitated myself, I just returned to what I used to be before I became into this illegal drug trade. If I would express here now that at a very late age, they used to mention me something about drugs, and I say, I can't do that. I will not go along against the principles of my father. But you see, that's one of the things I would like to explain in the book, how a man could find himself in a different world without even realizing what he's doing. And that is a little trick that could happen to anybody depending on the environment in which he lives in. And maybe I could make 1 or 2 persons in the world aware not to fall in the same category as I did, going against my own principles, as a matter of fact. So actually what I did, I returned. How I was raised, the same moral standards and principles of my father and my mother,